Hey guys, I just wanted to make a quick video to discuss something that is very hot at the minute. You can't go on social media, turn the radio on, talk to anyone in the street apparently, without hearing about the new series on Netflix. Well, the new film on Netflix, To the Bone. So, I want to put it out there first of all that the film can be triggering. So, I wouldn't recommend that you go and watch it if you think that that might not help you, but at the end of the day, what triggers you and what you watch is your responsibility. That's not Netflix's responsibility, that's not my responsibility, that's nobody else's other than your responsibility. If you don't think you can handle it, don't even risk it. So that's my first point. Basically, To the Bone is a Netflix film. It's about 2 hours long. It's about a 20-year-old girl called Ellen who goes in and out of inpatient facilities. Basically, it's just about her struggles. Now, I actually really wanted this one to be good, simply because for weeks everyone's been ranting and raving about how it's awful and it's triggering and it's detrimental and it's showing a bad image and how it's all about this thin white girl and all this shit. Now, I really wanted it to be a good film because I kind of wanted it to kind of show those people that actually maybe it's not. And you know what, some of it is right, some of what people are saying. It is a thin white girl, it can be triggering, but don't watch it if you're triggered. Rocket science. I wouldn't be scared of dogs and go to a kennel and then say that all kennels should be shut down because it scared me. Well, don't go to a dog kennel then. Do you know what I mean? So that wound me up. But the actual film, I think it's really good that they made it really triggering, because to make it not triggering, they would have to not say numbers, they would have to not show graphic images, they would have to make it all very light and airy and light-hearted, and eating disorders aren't like that. So why make a film about it that it's silly and it's untrue? So why you wouldn't make a film like that if you're trying to represent how someone's life with an eating disorder is? It's not realistic. So I don't know what people want. I don't know if people want it to be accurate or not triggering. And it can't be both, because unfortunately these illnesses are triggering and you can't go around in your life with a big trigger warning on everything you do. That's part of recovery, unfortunately, is learning how to deal with it. My pillow's falling down. So, my next point is actually about the film, not the controversy around it. So the film basically centres around this eating disorder unit that the girl goes to. So there was a few things. It is, no right, obviously I've only been in units in the UK. I have been in quite a stretch of different types because I've been an adolescent, adult, private, the other one, NHS, informal, section, etc, etc, do you know what I mean? So, but I haven't been obviously abroad, so I could be wrong, but this is my opinion and this is what I've heard about from other people. Basically, I don't think it was a very accurate representation of inpatient facilities, especially for eating disorders, at all. First of all, they walked in, they walked in, there was this room search, kind of bag search thing, and the woman said, have you got any sharps? Are you a cutter? A cutter. You, as a professional working in a facility, you wouldn't say that, because you just wouldn't. It's not a good term to use, it's not professional, it's not accurate. Just because you self-harm doesn't mean you're a cutter. I just thought that was just insane. Then, so someone in the facility shows her around, like another patient. And they get to dinner time and someone says, oh, did anyone tell you about mealtime? She's like, oh no. And I'm like, darling, you've gone into an eating disorder facility. Someone will have told you about mealtime. They would have told you what time it is. They would have told you the rules, etc, etc. Then we go into mealtime. So, now I'm all up for different methods, etc, but I don't think this would be not effective, but allowed, to be honest. So these patients, I think there's like 7 of them, eat unsupervised, no meal plans. There never seems to be a dietitian, there never seems to be any staff around. So unsupervised, they can get, well, they're not supposed to, they're not supposed to, but they can get up and leave, and they frequently do. They can talk about whatever the fuck they want. They can sit and go, how good do you think this food would be to purge? They can do whatever the fuck they want, basically. They don't have to eat if they don't want to. Now, that is true in other facilities, but you would be strongly encouraged to eat by staff, and they would make sure that you were, because otherwise how the fuck can you keep track of it? And they say, oh, you know, well, we don't monitor how much you eat because it will show on the scales. And it's like, yes, but darling, water shows on the scales, and does that make a difference? No? Okay. I just think it's so fucking inaccurate. And like, as well, recovery from an eating disorder isn't all about weight. It's not a weight disorder, it's an eating disorder. That's why it has that name. So, yes. And then we have the scene where she packs all her bags up and she just fucking walks out and goes, I don't know the states, but halfway across the fucking country. Sure. She could fucking walk out there and walk in front of a train for all they know. They wouldn't let that happen. It just doesn't fucking happen. And like, people would have seen her. This is another point. Where the fuck are all the staff? Like, where are all the staff in? It's just so inaccurate. Nobody tells her what the fuck is going on. No one tells her when meals are, when she's allowed to shower, when she's allowed to have therapy, etc, etc. No one supervises them when they eat. Nobody seems to keep track of if any of them are actually in the house or not, even though they have these levels where people are allowed in and out of the house. Not that that makes any difference, because they waltz in and out as they please anyways. The only time you ever see staff members is when a new patient comes, a patient has a breakdown in a toilet, like once, and morning and evening meetings. Sure. So yes, inaccurate. That is basically the biggest thing I have to say about this film, is just fucking inaccurate. It's really accurate of actual eating disorders and how deadly they are and dangerous and detrimental and difficult to get out of the actual facility that she was in. It kind of makes it look like a fucking youth club, which makes me a little bit angry, because it's not like that at all. It's hell on earth. And if eating disorder facilities were like that, to be completely fucking honest, I'd go live in one. That just looked so fun. They just sat and watched TV all the time. They didn't have to eat if they didn't want to. They didn't have to be able to do anything if they didn't want to. If they wanted to, just get up and fucking leave. Like, sure. What? No. Not impressed. But in terms of this whole controversy thing, if you're triggered, don't fucking watch it. It's not rocket science. I think it's fantastic that they've made a film about anorexia, because there aren't enough out there. There's the kind of, you know, these YouTube ones that are floating around, but none that are like mainstream, made for the public, not made for people with eating disorders. I just think it's fantastic. If we don't talk about these things, there's no fucking way in hell we're gonna make any progress in raising awareness and breaking the stigma and just making it a day-to-day topic that we can talk about. And if this is the response that we get, what the fuck are we gonna do? If this is the response that people give, you're triggering me, and I think it's really detrimental. And Lily Collins had to lose all this weight. Nobody fucking forced Lily Collins to lose all that weight. She did it for the good of the film. And to be honest, she's fucking fine. Like, did you see her die? No. She's fine. No, it's not an ideal thing. No, it's not fantastic, but it's happened. Does that mean that the film's a terrible fucking film? Well, yes it is, but does it mean, is it because of that? No. So get fucking grip. Sorry, just needed to like put that out there. My God. But yes, I would recommend watching it just because I feel like the more support we can give, not even just to the bone, but the more support we can give talking openly about eating disorders, I feel like the better it will be, regardless of how shit and accurate the film is, in my opinion. And you might have been in a facility that's exactly like that, or has massive traits that are like that. But from my opinion, my experiences of a lot of people around me, that is not even plausible, to be honest. Yeah, so that is to the bone. My review / rant. There we go. Alright, thanks for listening guys. I'll see you soon. Ciao.